We never did decide, Kent, on what exactly we're gonna label Brian as, how we're gonna introduce him. I mean, most of the people watching the show are gonna know anyway. But is it?
No,
you know, give
me a label. I insist on a label. You got to label me.
Well, I say we go with world-renowned con man.
Oh, world-renowned, really world though.
Yeah, he's got 1.5 million followers on Twitter.
No, trust me, I get all the people from India saying, teach me to hack. That's how they talk in India.
Hello and welcome to the Ritual Misery Podcast, episode beta 98 for Wednesday, the 12th of October, 2016. This is a show where two lifelong friends talk about geek shit and whatever else comes to mind. I'm Amos, that's Kent, and we've been conned, man.
Oh, man. We've been trying for the longest time to keep con men out of our business, and I don't think it's working.
Yeah. So with us tonight is the one, the only, Brian Brushwood.
Yo.
Yeah, you guys.
Yeah, most of the people are gonna know.
I mean, will they though?
They should.
I mean, do they really know? Can anyone really know who Brian Brushwood is?
Well, as we discussed in the pre-show, do you really even know who you are yourself?
No. As a matter of fact, like my life was so much simpler 10 years ago. When somebody asked, "Hey, who are you?" I had one answer. I'm a guy who tours the nation, eating fire and breaking bricks over his head. I'm interesting because I was on the Tonight Show once. And then stuff just got more and more complicated. I don't even know what the answer is now. This is why I want to hear it from you guys.
Okay. So let's go from the top again. I'm Amos, that's Kent, and with us tonight is Brian Brushwood, host of Hack on the System, Scam School, The Modern Rogue, Night Attack, Cord Killers, Weird Things, and a bunch of shit we didn't even know about because he's got it all hidden in some Reddit page somewhere. Brian Brushwood, how you doing?
Dude, today's the best day of my life because today's the day I finally joined you guys on the Ritual Misery podcast.
Yay!
It's so nice of you to read that right from the screen.
It's so great to be here in Las Vegas. You guys.
Oh, that's amazing.
Oh, man.
So welcome to the show, Brian. We are absolutely happy to have you on. You are on our...
By the way, I still have not brought myself to watch the episode that you had my wife on because it's like I just feel like that's hers. That's her experience. I don't want to know. I don't want to know. I don't want an insight. I don't want to think of all the things I would have suggested that she do or that you do or anything. And so instead, it's like I'm glad it's just us now. We're gonna pretend that didn't happen.
Right on. No, that was a super fun show.
Yeah.
Thank you for letting us borrow her for an hour.
It was so adorable. She put on makeup and everything, and she's like, "All right, take care of the kids. If any of them wake up and they want to pee pee, then let them go pee pee and stuff." And then it's like all I heard, like all of a sudden, it was this awesome role reversal because all I heard was cackling and laughter and the deep bass thumping that comes from people having a great time in the studio. And I'm like, I'm not jealous. I'm not jealous at all. It's fine. They can have as much fun as they want. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, so we had to have you on the show. Just to balance things out. We're not trying to cause a divide in the Brushwood household, you know.
No, as a matter of fact, you're saving the marriage because we're this close to divorcing. And I was like, I swear to God, if I don't get on there, Ritual Misery wants me on. Okay, no, it's fine. It's fine, baby. Don't worry about it.
So how has your week been, Kent?
Just a real quick note, if you could fix the lower third to get chat working again on OBS.
What?
Yeah.
Bothering him all week, man. He's been going nuts over that.
There you go.
This week is, it's a short week. Monday was Columbus Day.
Yeah.
It's a federal holiday. Get the day off. I'm not real sure. Do you exchange presents? Do you sing songs? Do you move into neighborhoods? And
I think they stopped exchanging presents sometime near the Emancipation Proclamation or something like that. Like that's.
Yeah. I don't know, but whatever it is, I slept on Monday.
Yeah.
About probably 11 a.m. or something like that. So it was nice. It was a good week.
Yeah, Brian.
Start to the week. So Brian,
that's
about
what is a full-time podcaster / TV show host / father of 3 do on a holiday?
He meditates deeply, ruminating on whether or not it's right to praise Columbus for placing a very important financial bet on the idea that he could get to the other side of the world or not. Should we praise him or damn him? Wait, are you on team indigenous people or on team Columbus?
I have found that Team Indigenous is always the right answer, regardless of whether or not they win. I'm just putting that out there.
Yeah. Do you know who's like really passionate about this? Is Teller from Penn and Teller. He has no patience for the whole shaming of Columbus thing. He's like, Columbus made a colossal bet. He did an insane thing, and he got other people to bet on him. And he took that money and he ran across the world and he opened up the spice trade that, created the whole new world. And I don't know how I feel about any of it.
Yeah, it's one of those weird things because if Columbus hadn't sailed over here, history would be changed forever, and the three of us would not be sitting here right now. Butterfly effect and all that.
You don't know that. I mean, maybe not exactly where we are right now, but we could all be in Mother Russia or something like that doing the same thing.
I mean, Mother Russia. Yeah, the motherland where we came. Yeah. Anyway, no, true. Who knows, man? Butterfly effect could take any shape or form. We don't know. Maybe we'd be rich and famous otherwise.
This is the historian's dilemma, where it's like they call it the great man theory. Like when you get someone like Edison or whatever, and it's like, oh, he was such a great man, he invented the light bulb or whatever. And then you look at the whole story, and it's like, well, I don't know, 1 billion people were like this close to getting a light bulb. And the reverse is like, if it wasn't Columbus, it would have been somebody else in 20 minutes that would have made the same thing. Which I think is the case, right? I feel like it was inevitable that mankind was going to bust out of the petri dish of Europe.
No, I think if it wasn't Columbus, I think we would just us white people would just be stuck in Europe here in 2016. We'd have no idea that there was this whole other continent on the other side of the planet.
All the way to the 21st century. We would go to the moon, and then from the moon, they would look back and be like, hey, son of a bitch, guys, you're not going to believe this.
Yeah, Houston, we have a problem.
You will not believe what I'm seeing right now.
Houston, we have a problem.
Houston, we have 2 more continents.
Yeah,
we have a problem.
Yeah, we've got a whole spatial issue going on here. We're gonna have to figure. Are we gonna be able to make it home? Yeah.
It's like Neil Armstrong is like, all right. The bad news is we missed some pretty big details. The good news is, pretty sure those indigenous people are still eating each other's children or whatever. Making a savage argument. I'm sorry.
No gift gives as well as smallpox and syphilis. So, it's the gift that can literally just give everything.
Not associated with this podcast. Prank call, prank podcast, prank call podcast.
I was gonna say, I was wondering if that's where the tradition of the great blanket giveaway that was going on in my town. I don't know if that has anything to do with it, but.
No. that sounds
Amos, how was your week, dude?
Well, my weekend started a little early. We had to shift our days because of some things that went on with the mission here in Alaska. So I ended up having Thursday and Friday off, and then Saturday I went and I had a Saturdate with the wife, and we left everybody at home and we just took off, and it was one of those days like we didn't sit down at dinner and talk about finances and future plans and all that other shit. We were just like literally a couple out on a date for the day, and it was great. It was so relaxing. It was amazing. So that was pretty much the highlight of my weekend. I know I like to talk about how lazy my weekends are when I don't mean them to be, but that was definitely the best part of my weekend this weekend.
Oh, that's awesome, dude, because there's so little time, it seems like, to do simple things like that, and it's badass when you can do that.
And I tell you, one of the things that we did, and Brian, I'm sure with 3 little girls running around the house, you're kind of in the same situation as me, where there's never a moment alone for anything.
Tell you what, I've gotten real good at locking the studio door. Like, it's crazy. I am withdrawing into my one quiet space, and I is like, Daddy's working. Click. Yeah. Like, leave me alone.
Just taking a nap.
Yeah, watching Battlestar Galactica or Westworld or whatnot.
Right, but that actually is work for you. See, we need a TV show podcast. That's what we need.
I highly recommend it, especially come tax time. It is awesome to be able to do as a deduction. Like those video games, I'm a consultant for Daily Tech News Show, and it's important that I play the Vive.
Yeah.
Yep.
Exactly.
12 months of Netflix, 12 months of Hulu, 12 months of HBO now, 12. Yeah.
So on our Saturday, we end up finding this local brain game store, like this little game store that's all smart games, creative things where you're creating shapes, you're designing stuff. They had the little science kits where you can you put 433 pieces together and a light bulb turns on at the end,
Right.
And we spent like $100 in there buying random shit, and we were in there for like an hour and a half. And man, I just love those little stores, and I had no idea because we live in a very small town, and to have one like right down the street, super exciting. So that was really the highlight of everything. And that store, that was my geeky thing of the week, definitely.
Oh, right on. So that's badass that you have a geek store right there in your neighborhood. My neighborhood geek store is closing. Hastings.
Really?
Brian, have you ever been to a Hastings?
Holy cow! What is this? 1997? A Hastings?
I live in a little Mexico town, and this was the most wonderful thing here.
Have you ever been in New Mexico and seen 3 rocks lined up in a row? That's his town.
Basically.
I'm okay. Hastings was like late to the CD party, early to the DVD party, and then gone.
So when
up
Kent,
until like 2 months ago, they were still renting movies. It was like a Blockbuster.
we found a Blockbuster. It's literally across the street from the brain game store. So it's an actual Blockbuster.
Do they rent VHS tapes?
They have a whole shelf of VHS.
Shut the fuck up! Really?
Yeah, I'll take a picture of it next time I'm over there. But yeah, it's totally, completely true.
Dude, you tweet about that. That's awesome.
Yeah, we found that where we were looking through. Oh yeah, we basically we shopped half of the town in one day, and that was one of the things at the Blockbuster store. So what are you gonna do with Alamogordo once the Hastings is gone?
Oh man, well, I don't know. Who the hell knows? But they are having a going out of business sale where most shit is like 90% off.
Right.
So I went there and rated as much as I could of board games and things like that, and I found a really freaking cool game. You guys have played Munchkin, right?
Sure.
You guys played Munchkin.
It's right
Well,
there.
there's a game made by the same people. This Steve Jackson Games.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's called Shea Geek. Has anybody Shea Geek?
Jackson Games, if I'm not mistaken, is based right out of here in Austin.
That
believe so.
figures.
Yeah.
Austin, the greatest city of all time.
Yeah, it's at least the best city in the South. So we'll go there.
So what is Shea Geek?
It's really cool. I mean, you get the same feel, I think, as with Munchkin, because it's cards and you're basically role playing, but with cards. Well, in Shea Geek, you're role playing as roommates. So all the players in the game are roommates in an apartment, and you're slackers. And the entire point of the game is to slack off more than any of your roommates.
Oh man, I'll slack off right on your faces.
Oh, it is so much fun.
Oh, you're sleeping? Guess what? You're gonna wake up with my slack all over your face.
Yes, that's pretty much the point of the game. I mean, you can get nookie points, you can get points for sleeping, all kinds of just slack off shit. And this is a $35 to $40 board game. Hastings had it for 90% off. I got it for $3.50. Played the hell out of it already. It's the best $3.50 I ever spent, and it's fucking awesome. I highly recommend this game.
Kent gets excited anytime you can slack off. Like that's
Right. Yeah, that's the point of life, right? You get all your stuff done so you can just lazy.
Is it appropriate to slack off with your children?
More importantly, is it appropriate to slack off on your children?
Yeah. No, I
No,
mean, it's like I just want to shove it in my kid's face, and I'm like, oh
Yeah.
man, I slack off better than you. Look who's slacking off. It's your
Yeah.
dad.
Can you slack off in a preschool? Like
I
is that one of those things?
In certain states, that's against the law.
Yeah, slacking off in a preschool.
Yes.
Mm-mm.
What if your child attends the preschool?
Oh, that's a different story because at that point, then you can sign up as a parent volunteer and you can do whatever.
Oh, okay.
This is entirely too specific knowledge for my comfort level.
Oh my God.
Holy crap, Brian! How was your weekend of all things, man?
Real good, I think. So I'm I don't know if you noticed, and stop me if you've heard this before, but I got a little fat. Like I with the travel schedule and stuff.
Now, wait, are you talking camera fat? Like the camera adds 10 pounds?
No, in real life,
not
I'm
real
totally
fat though,
fine.
right? Yeah, okay.
Right. But it's like, and thank you for understanding. So it's like you got.
Have you seen this face? Like this is 15 pounds of camera fat right here. I promise.
Yeah, no, I believe it. So it's like you got 3 health bars. You got money, relationships, and health, right? And so when you think of happiness, like if you ask anyone to write goals down, they're gonna have 1, 2, or 3 of those. And so in this case, it was like things were so stressful that I just was like, screw it, I'm gonna eat whatever I want for a couple of months, and I did. And then it's like, ooh, it's time to undo that. But unfortunately, that getting back on the horse of working out and stuff, man, that's tough. And I started when I was out at Tom Merritt's place out in L.A. I would jog the 3 miles out to the beach and then swim in the beach and then walk back. And I did that every day I was out there. And that was fueled mainly by novelty, but I've worked out every single day for 2 weeks now. And today was the day when I woke up and I'm like, man, really want to work out. Really looking forward to working out. So it's like I'm only 2 pounds into my losing weight journey to get back to my ideal weight of 145. But at 153, I'm actually making waves and also playing a lot of Hearthstone. If you want to work out, play Hearthstone while you pedal on the bike. It's great.
Oh, geez. Well, I mean, for clarification, you're well ahead of me. My ideal weight is 185, and I'm sitting at about 221. So
okay, all right, but how tall are you?
6'2".
Yeah, no, yeah. I'm 5'6", dude. Yeah. I am a tiny dwarf of a man. It's like if you sneezed on me and I would gain a pound, and I'd be like, I'll never lose it.
Yeah, I'm not sure the relationship is fully that way because I mean you've got like 6 pounds to go, and I'm sitting at about 45 pounds over my ideal weight.
Okay, but understand, like it takes forever to lose any weight when you're this tiny. I am a tiny, tiny man.
Speaking of which, Brian, I was curious. Are you sitting on your foot right now?
No, but very close. You want to see how it looks when I sit on my foot? Oh. See, you guys know all my tricks. This is the problem with Diamond Club. I've confessed too much to you assholes.
Oh man.
Speaking of your appendages, how's your hand?
Dude, it healed 100%. In fact, there was a brief while. I'm gonna hold it up to the camera. I don't know if you guys can tell. So, for those of you guys who don't know, I got 2nd-degree burns when I squeezed a torch a little too cozily earlier this year, and even as it happened, it looked like everything was gonna blister and be fine. But apparently, the new flesh tans at a different rate than the old flesh. Like new flesh tans very, very quickly. So it got a little bit dark. But here we are. What, 8 months later, and I don't think you can even tell it's there.
Nice.
Take that, Mom. You thought I had to learn a lesson? I ain't learned shit.
Ready to be burned again.
Yeah.
Hey, it is that time of the show where I hit this little button right here.
I know the sound.
So, Kevin Breel, Confessions of a Depressed Comic. I'm really going to sum this up by actually quoting Kevin Breel. He says, real depression isn't being sad when something in your life goes wrong. Real depression is being sad when everything in your life is going right. And this was one of those talks where I just was randomly clicking and just kind of watching several. And this is the one that really struck me. It was awesome. Kent, me and you have talked before about depression and about suicide. I've been a lifelong sufferer of depression myself. And it even affected you a little bit strangely this week, which I don't know if you really want to get into. But this was one of those talks that if you even think that you suffer from depression, watch this talk. Of course, the link will be in the show notes. And if you don't identify with this, then you're good. You know, but I'm pretty sure most people are going to identify with at least some of this. And he really drives it home, just not with the intellectual aspect of it, but with the emotional and the familiarity of it.
Well, yeah, and you got to commend his bravery for coming on the stage and talking about it. You could tell he was nervous, and it had to be an amazing accomplishment for him to get on stage and talk about it. But it's really strange because you put this in the show notes several days ago, and a couple nights ago I went ahead and clicked it and watched it so that I could add my thoughts to yours on this. And the next day at work, I found out, I guess right about lunchtime, that one of the airmen in our unit, he was going through some stuff, and he actually took his life yesterday morning. So it was doubly impactful for me. And I think so many people in in our population, in our everyday life, probably a lot of people actually that are watching this right now, experience depression at various varying levels. And it really sucks that we as a society have stigmatized it, and that's wrong. We need to let each other know that it's okay, and there are ways to get help. And one way, in fact, that I want to put out there, 1-800-273-TALK is a suicide hotline that 24/7, any time of the day, there's people standing by to if you just want to talk, if you just got something going on and you just want to talk, or if you really are, you've got the pills in your hand or the gun to your head or whatever, like they'll find a way to help you. And I highly suggest, if you can't talk to a friend or a family member or anybody, like call that number or go to their website. That's also going to be in our show notes. Just somehow find.
Have either of you guys ever called a suicide hotline?
I have not.
Yeah, no, I did when I was in high school, dealing with a bout of depression after breaking up with a high school sweetheart. And it was amazing. Like I called and like the first words out of my mouth are, "I'm not suicidal. I just don't know who else to talk to." And some delightful woman who I'll never know her name, I'll never know, and she'll never know how much it mattered. I just talked through, and the very act of speaking to another person, there's something about that feeling of connectivity, that feeling of release that comes from just telling the truth and saying the things that you can't say to other people is absolutely phenomenal. And that quote of real depression is being sad when everything in your life is going right, I absolutely can understand, because I think I've hinted at it. I don't think we've really dived into it before, but at the beginning of 2015, when January of 2015, there were 3 lifetime milestones that I had worked my entire life to reach. One was we hit 1 million subscribers on Scam School, which was a 7-year journey to get there. One was the premiere of my TV show on National Geographic, was a 12-year journey to get there. And then the other was I turned 40 years old, which is literally a lifetime journey to get to the halfway point of the rest of my life. And once that happened, once I knew those were going to happen, I really fell into a deep, deep depression. After I did all the work, after I put everything in, it was like, I think that was around the time that there was the episode that I got blackout drunk with Anthony Carboni on, that I remember most of the episode. It is a real thing, that idea that you could do everything right and everything could be going right, and you have these invasive thoughts. I would think to myself, well, I pretty much won. I did everything that I ever wanted at life. I've defeated all my Megrams and demons and enemies and people who wanted to get in my way. Everything worked. So what do? I guess I could make a waffle, maybe go for a jog, eat a bullet. And then it's like I thought to myself, like, whoa, where did that come from? And it's like, and the other part of my brain is like, yeah, man, you won. You got everything you ever wanted. You beat the game of life harder than you ever thought you would. Why are you still in the game? Why are you still here? You won. Like, and you have no purpose to still be here. It's like playing Fallout after you defeat the main quest. It just loses its luster, and that's how I felt. And that's a dark, weird, intrusive thought, and it's totally irrational. And like, I mean, who's gonna listen to a guy who just finally realized his lifelong dream of getting a TV show is like, hi, I'd like to tell you how sad I am that I finally achieved my life's goal. You know, that's some horseshit.
Oh, poor you. Yeah. Yeah, no, that's exactly right. And the thing about depression is it will strike at the strangest of times, and you just never know. It'll happen to all of us. And anybody that knows Brian knows that he's always happy, always, very energetic and whatnot. And yeah, you don't know what's happening, behind the scenes. So
I can personally attest that through my many bouts with depression in my life, Kent, the dude right over there, I guess, has been through side by side with me through many of them. So he's never been the depressed person, but he's certainly seen the effects of it. For the permanently depressed, or I don't want to say permanently depressed, the lifelong depression victim, I guess.
Yeah, well, even me, like, case in point, I have had moments of depression, and I don't let other people see it.
Right.
And so that's, we all go through it.
Good.
Well, I was just gonna say, it's one of those things where it's like it's one of those things where it's like there's no money in it. It's like you feel it, and it's like, I guess I could tell other people, and it's like, there ain't no money in that. Why you want to do that? It's like let's do the job. The job of living life, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
Speaking of TED Talks, Kent put one in there this week that is this guy. I thought it was a complete farcity that he should even be on there, but this dude Brian Brushwood has one called "Social Engineering: How to Scam Your Way into Anything," and I got to tell you, man, I didn't fall for it. It fell on deaf ears right here. Like, I don't know, Brian, have you seen this one?
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Do you guys want some inside sauce on this whole thing?
Oh, definitely. TED Talks in general, TEDx and the TED Symposium itself and everything else, it's completely thrills us. That's why we have it as a regular part of the show. So please give us the sauce.
Well, so they asked me to do a thing, and they were like, talk about whatever you want. And I wanted to do kind of a shortened version of the talk I did at South by Southwest called How to Scam Your Way into Anything. And unfortunately, like the original talk as it was written was like 45 minutes. But of course, you only get 19 minutes on TEDx. And so weirdly, there were two parts to the whole thing. One was explaining the fundamentals of a book written by Robert Cialdini almost, 40 years ago called Influence, talking about the psychological motivators that motivate everyone. And then the second part was like how we use those and how you can use those using the tricks on Scam School. And of all things, I came up the day before, and we did the whole dress rehearsal, and it was like, hey, I just want to make sure. Originally, I was like, well, I just assumed we'd plug in my computer and I would run it off my computer. They're like, no, just give us all the PowerPoints and it'll be fine. And I was like, are you sure? Because sometimes videos have trouble with codecs and all that stuff. They're like, it'll be fine. So I sent it over. And then that night, they're all like, ew, we're having trouble with your videos. Can you maybe re-encode it in a different codec? And so I re-encode all like 7 videos in Cinepack and a bunch of, universal codecs and so on. And they're like, okay, nope, yep, this will work, totally work. I get out there on stage and I get halfway through the presentation and I do my first video and it doesn't work. And none of the videos work. And the videos are like a third of all the content of my 20 minutes. And so luckily on the video that you guys saw, they were very generous in the edit and it's very smooth. The only thing I dislike about it is that the balance is totally like, I don't mind spending, a third to a half of a presentation, bringing other people up to speed on, the book Influence. But if you watch it the way it is now, it just looks like Brian's giving a book report on Robert Cialdini's research, and it's like that's a bit of a bummer.
Yeah.
An infomercial, free infomercial. Here we go.
Yeah, right. It's like, look how good this other guy is at figuring stuff out.
So I did notice you still had at the time, because this was what, like 5 years ago, I think. You still had the trademark spike hair.
Yeah, that was a bit of a. So here's the thing: the trademark spike hair. It's really weird to explain to people, but touring on stage was my day job. I had a day job, and part of that day job, the show I did, was a punk rock magic show. This giant middle finger, this fuck you dad of magic, this whole everything you know about magic is wrong. Look at me, I'm totally different. I'm rejecting all that. And you can't get up on stage with that show to a college audience with a traditional, normal looking hairstyle. And so my day job required me to have the nutty, punked out hair. Otherwise, nothing else really made sense. And then at some point, it wasn't until the TV show that finally it's like, oh, okay, my new day job is doing internet videos and TV stuff. And so now I can wear the appropriate uniform for that, for my day job, which is to have, a normal haircut and so on.
To appear to blend in.
Yeah. So this occurred in that weird transition period where it was a bit of a coin flip when I was like, well, do I wear the hair up or down? I'm trying to, learn to do both. I don't know. And so it was like we just decided to go with, the uniform, for lack of a better word.
Nice.
Yeah, that's you read right into where I was leading that question. So yeah.
Imagine that the guy that teaches people how to influence other people read right into your answer.
Exactly. Well, one thing that you said in that video was that whoever is asking the questions controls the situation. And that's kind of what you did. You just took it over, oh, fuck you. I'm taking the show over. This is my show now.
Which, by the way, I rather enjoyed. Did you guys see Zootopia? That one moment where they're doing the press release thing or the press conference, and it's like, whatever they say, ask yourself a question and then give the answer that you feel comfortable giving. And it's like, is it weird that I was wearing spiked hair in 2008? Yes. Also, the important thing is that you should know that I had a stage show that demanded it.
Which, by the way, every time it's brought up, I just mentally think, man, that was such a good movie. So. Oh,
it's so good. It's so good. As a matter of fact, I was trying to cheat on my wife recently. I was gonna watch Luke Cage without her, and I loaded it up. And then I saw that Zootopia was on, and I was like, you got lucky, Bonnie. I'm going to give you some Zootopia action.
Yeah, we just watched that again a few days ago as well. So I want to take this in a different direction. Brian, I heard somewhere that you were a military brat. Is that accurate?
No, a lot of people assume that. I mean, well, first of all, my dad did serve in the military. I do, as a result, enjoy the benefits of USAA. And I do, I did get a brief military ID when I worked for the military. This is not USO for MWR. I did shows in Italy and a bunch of bases in Germany. But a lot of people assume I'm military because we moved around so much when I was a kid. The reason we moved around is because my dad was in the oil business, and he was apparently 20 years ahead of his time. Because when I was 5 years old, we moved to Houston, and then a year later we moved to Denver, where Dad was part of a project trying to figure out how to extract oil from shale. This is all pre-fracking, right? And then we moved to the Norway, where Norway had opened up the coast for offshore drilling. And then we moved back to Houston. And then the moment I graduated, Dad moved down to Venezuela that had just opened up their coastline for drilling as well.
Wow.
How old were you when you lived in Venezuela?
I did not. I was in, I think I was a sophomore in college.
That's not the time you punch, man. That's not when you punch. You're like, oh, Dad, you're going to Venezuela. I'm going with you.
Yeah. No. I believe I was a sophomore in college, and mom and dad were like, "Hey, anyway, we're leaving the country. Bye." I was like, "I'm an adult now," and but it was great. It was great visiting them, and this is all before everything went to shit, and it was a terrible, terrifying place.
Yeah. You know, the technicalities of the political spectrum. You know, it's
of course
weird. So. Go ahead, Kent. You look like you got something on your mind, like ready to say, which means that you don't because I just asked you about it.
No, I was gonna ask more about the MWR shows. You said you went to Germany. I lived in Germany for 5 years with the Air Force.
Wait,
I was just
chariot.
Spangdahlem Air Base.
Yeah, no. Yeah, I guess that wasn't where I was.
South Frankfurt.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. First of all, like being a non-military person, like the whole process of getting a military ID and then being handed mission orders was like it's like at 1400 hours, report to the faculty gymnasium. 1430 hours, perform magic show. 1530 hours, mission accomplished. And I was like, what? It was really weird. but on the flip side, like part of me being over there was because I was entertaining the families of a lot of people who had loved ones. This was 2005. A lot of people were serving in Iraq at the time, and I was really struck by two things. Number one, the efforts, the lengths to which the military goes to reconstruct small town America for all of the loving wives and children of the deployed, including they got a town square and you go to the PX and they got all your familiar brands. In fact, I noticed when I was in Germany, the home of Beck's beer, I went to the PX and I found Beck's beer and it said imported from Canada, the Labatt breweries, which is where America gets its Beck's beer from. So they re-imported the fake German beer that was made in Canada, shipped to America, and then shipped over to Germany. But then the other thing I was struck by was how much it mattered to the kids. There's if you look at my office, there's a bunch of memorabilia, but one of my favorite bits is a little doodle made by, and this is, I think my daughter was 2. No, she was just over 1 when I went. And my youngest daughter now is as old as the kid was who drew it in Italy. And it says, Ciao de Matteo. Some kid named Matteo drew a little picture of me and wrote ciao and handed it to me. And I've held it to this very day.
That is awesome. And you're absolutely right. Whenever someone would come from the United States to entertain us, either as troops or just the families, it means so much. And the bigger the name, actually it didn't even have to be a big name, but it always surprises me when the big names do it because they don't get paid. The expenses are paid for.
Sure.
So,
yeah, no, but the money is pretty much garbage. I mean, it's a few $100s, to show up.
Right. So you obviously you're not doing it for the money.
Right.
And so people that come over there spend their time away from their own family to come entertain us or entertain our families.
To tie all this together, every time that I've been deployed, I've always taken my camera with me. And even before I was watching Scam School and everything else, one of the things that I always did was I knew that if I presented myself confidently, held my camera high, I could get anywhere I wanted, no matter who it was. And
basically, fake press pass.
It really was, because when Snoop Dogg came through, I was his personal photographer for the entire day. The public affairs guy was like, "Why can't I get the pictures?" That was his job. Yet I was the one on stage getting the up close pictures. Everything else. Candlebox came through. By the way, they got paid I think $60K to come out there for 10 shows throughout the theater, and talking to the lead singer. At the end of the day, after paying for all the stuff to get over there, and they end up with $2,000 each. Yeah. For a month in theater.
And I think that's a good point where it's when you say you don't get paid anything, that's not to say there's not money involved. I mean, certainly there is an exchange of currency or whatever, but it is disproportionate. Like you could do much better doing a quick gig at Atlantic City.
Yeah, but yeah, they came through and got to hang out with them the entire time just by hey, I'm the photographer, and here I am. I just had the day off, and it's just one of those things. And the USO shows, just overall, the USO or MWR, whichever it comes out to, man, it's just such an amazing thing. In fact, I tried to get Brian. I got hooked up with the person in Korea that was in charge of pulling talent from the States to come out and do shows. And I reached out to Brian at one point. I was like, hey, if I can make this happen, will you do it? And Brian was like, well, fuck yeah. And the money fell out like right at the last second. Like I had the name in there. They'd watched the videos. They'd seen the Google talk that you did. Like all this stuff. Like I had it all set up. They were about ready to make the phone call and the money fell out. And I was like,
yeah, what's funny is like there's a number of those situations that happen, and oftentimes when people say, "Oh yeah, no, I had an interaction with you, Brian," if it was over Twitter or something, I might have been like, "Ooh, was I well behaved? Was I nice or whatever?" But you saying I tried to book you for an MWR gig in Korea, and I was like. Guarantee you, I know what past Brian would have said. He would have said, "Hell's yes," and then so I had no hesitation in that moment.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was really cool. Hey, we have some other things going on here. Number one, man, I have a local game store here in town, but not everybody does.
Right, like me.
Yeah.
So
they're extinct, guys. No, they don't exist. They're like the Sasquatch. Or the Yeti, or the Nessie, or ghosts.
But you know where you can go.
Or the Singularity.
No. The Singularity's coming, Brian. Like, no, it's coming.
We're at least
like
a year and a half.
You know Tom and Veronica, right? Like the Singularity's coming.
Operating Thetan level 7. They're all myths. Okay. They don't exist.
Yet is the operative word there.
but there is a place you can go if you want to get your geek on and you don't have a local store.
What?
Guy?
Yeah. Geekandgamergear.com. That's geek, the letter N, gamergear.com. All kinds of geeky shit.
Hold on. I'm clicking it right now.
He's trying to call us
There's
out.
a very convincing hologram of what appears to be some place that offers free shipping worldwide. I don't believe it. This is a hallucination. My skeptical mind refuses to accept this.
Well, you know what's even better, Brian? You'll notice that there's really low prices on some really cool shit there.
Hold on. Let me look at these prices real quick.
Not only do you get the free shipping, but if you use the code Ritual Misery at checkout, you get a further 10% off your order.
Now this is only an emergency action. If your local game store has disappeared, we have your back. Now Brian's still not convinced.
I swear to God, if you're gonna make a mockery of all my belief systems and tell me this is a real thing, you know what? I'm gonna give it the benefit of the doubt. I'm going to check out right now. I'm gonna get a Meeseeks plush, only $8. $8. For a Meeseeks plush. You know what? I asked my daughter to make one of these. It was garbage. It was the worst Meeseeks I'd ever seen. I threw it back in her face. I said, "Get out of here."
It was just tape and construction paper. Like it didn't work, right?
No. Plus, also, it was no Meeseeks box, for crying out loud. All right, look, I'm going to punch in my stuff. Well, there's a discount code here. Yeah. Hold on. What do I type in the discount code?
Ritual Misery. RITUALMISERY.
Yep,
Hold on.
One word.
All right, I just had the weirdest hallucination of all times because it looked as though it just took 80 cents off the already unbelievably low price of $8 for only $7.20. Finally, I have something I can shove in the face of my children and say, "See, this is what a real plush Meeseeks looks like."
Now, Brian, keep in mind, that's not 10% off your first item. That's 10% off your entire first order.
Okay, hold on.
You could get an army. An army.
I have 3 children.
See?
And all 3 of them were tasked at various times with making a Meeseeks plush. All of them have failed. I should get 3 of these.
Yes, you need to teach all of them the lesson.
I'm going to try typing in Ritual Misery a second time.
See if you get an extra discount.
Holy cow, guys. It just took it down to $6.30.
That is unreal.
Like,
Hold on, I'm going to type it again.
I don't know how you're losing right now.
Chat room should do an experiment and see if it only works for Brian or if it works for everyone.
Yeah.
Hold on. Down to $4.20. I'm going to do it again.
The grand experiment commences.
Hold on. They're now paying me to take the. Hold on. I'm going to make all the money in the world. Hold on.
Just keep going. Just keep going. Meanwhile, geekandgamergear.com.
Unfortunately, I can only do it once.
Geekandgamergear.com. 10% off your entire first order. Offer code Ritual Misery. Go make that happen. Find a friend that doesn't have a local geek store and buy them some stuff. Make that happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially if you have $3 that aren't good at making plushies.
That is the threat. That is the threat. Hey, real quick, Richard Gunther, friend of the show, South by Southwest attendee every year, and friend of ours. We had a little bet with him.
Oh God! Are we gonna bring this up?
Yes,
are we gonna bring up
have
the
to.
bet that we lost?
We have to. We had a bet with him because he challenged us. It wasn't necessarily a bet. We told him the list of people that we wanted to get on the show, and one of the people that we've been wanting to get on the show forever is Veronica Belmont. Why? Because she's awesome.
Yeah, she's kind of a legend in the field.
He said there is no way you're getting Veronica Belmont on your show before I get her on mine. And we said challenge accepted. Challenge accepted, and we lost. This week on Home On, Richard Gunther hosted Veronica Belmont, and they talked about all the gadgets she has around the house. We lost. We acknowledged the loss. We're not giving up.
Yep. Yeah, we'll eventually have her on. That's the hope anyway. But congrats, Richard.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. You won.
I believe there might have been a beer on the line, so South by, here we go. That's going to have to happen. Speaking of South by, if you haven't seen Night Attack live, you need to make that happen. So,
yes. Oh, that is awesome. That's now forever on my calendar. Every year, I'm going to be at South by So Wasted.
Oh, yeah.
Definitely.
It was a good time. Good times.
One other thing, man. One other friend of a friend, I guess, because he's Brian's friend and Brian's kind of our friend. Tensor Guy came out with some shit today.
Yes.
Jaime. Speaking of Jaime, he was at South by. We all got pictures with him and had a good time having some beers with him. Cool guy. So what does he got going on? Why are we bringing Jaime?
I'm going to cut over to this. He's got a little Kickstarter going on for this holographic shit that is just
Holovect is short for holographic vector.
By the way, holographic shit is how he calls it. He loves it when you call it holographic shit.
Yes.
Is that his preferred? See, I'm glad
he
I nailed
says,
that.
"Look at my bullshit. It's holographic."
If it wasn't for the advice that he was given on his Kickstarter project, that's exactly what it would have been called, I'm sure. No, I mean, everybody's seen Star Wars with the Princess Leia, R2-D2 putting out the holograph of Princess Leia, help me Obi-Wan Kenobi. Like, his machine, his invention does exactly that. And it is so cool. He actually revealed this to the world months ago. It's probably more than 6 months ago, maybe a year ago.
It was almost a year ago because he got a wild hair in his butt last year, which was due to an unfortunate fox hunting accident,
right?
And he decided that just before the latest Star Wars movie was the time to release it, and both Justin and I were like, I don't think that's okay, and then he did, and he was like, oh wait, no, you guys were right, and so he went back, and it was like Rocky training in Russia. He punched a bunch of meat. And he put an ox cart and drug a bunch of people, and he did a bunch of pull-ups. And then now he finally has the proper way to display the Holovect technology in the Kickstarter. It looks amazing. You see true 3D rotation. It's not just a proof of concept. This thing looks absolutely incredible. It uses lasers, and that's all I know about it. But it definitely is projecting 3D images.
So here's the two things about this that I really, three things. I'll give you three things that I like about it so much. One, it's really cool to look at. I mean, I just showed the video. It's pretty awesome. If you haven't seen it, we'll have a link in the show notes. Two, this is not only is it something that you can look at now and hold and use and see now, but this is guaranteed to lead into something huge, because this is like a minor personal scale of something that can be amazingly large scale.
Well, and this is the thing you got to remember, is that this has all been like just Jaime. It's been a one-man operation. He's put this all together.
Yeah,
and
it's a huge project.
Like Jaime's play is that he wants everything to be open source. He wants everybody to develop a million things. And if I hope I'm not talking out of school, but it's like he got a couple of patents on some peripherally related things, basically figuring if this blows up, if everybody makes their own kits, then I'll make a few bucks on this peripherally related stuff. But he just wants it to happen. That's the exciting.
And that was my third thing, is if you mention this to Jaime in person, you will see a man aglow. Like you can tell this, it like his whole persona just changes in front of your eyes. He's so passionate about this, and it's just cool, man. It's really cool.
It really is, dude. It's like looking at an X-Wing fighter, like rotating in real life, projected, just like standing right in front of it. You can see it just hovering in front of you, and you could actually reach out and touch the area and disturb the molecules around it. It's incredible.
Yep.
Yeah, super cool. So everybody go to Kickstarter. We will have a link in the show notes, but if you're just listening, go to Kickstarter and look up Holovect, and it'll be the first thing that pops
that's
up.
HOLOVECT, like holographic vector.
Yep.
Yeah,
all right, man. We're about to close the show, but we got a little bit of business left over. Brian, let's start with you. Where can people, if they haven't, say for some random reason this video makes it outside of Diamond Club?
Sure.
Where can people find more of your swindles, tricks, and shenanigans?
I have never existed in any medium, in any format, outside of two things: Ritual Misery and The Modern Rogue, which, by the way, now has its own custom URL. Head on over to youtube.com/Modern Rogue. It's the only thing I've ever done. Ignore everything else you ever seen, heard, or rumors that I've ever done anything before it. It's the only thing that's ever existed.
Very, very cool. Hey, so this entire show, we have been doing a little game. It's a little thing. We call it Ritual Libs, or Ritual Library. And what we've been doing is taking random words from the conversations and kind of slipping them into a little Mad Libs type thing. Okay, so it's an extra Mad Libs, but whatever. And what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and present that. I believe Kent is going to do the dramatic reading, and that's so far it's worked out pretty well. And I think Kent is doing over the last 2 words now. So. In one word, Brian, how would you describe your wife?
My wife?
Yeah, or Penny. Let's go with Penny. Let's get a little bit further from the. All
right, let's be one word clear about which one I'm describing.
Penny.
Penny?
Yeah, one word.
Intense.
There you go. Okay.
Intense.
Good selection.
All right. And let's go with. If you could own any one thing without regard to cost or personal feelings from anywhere, just completely free of all obligations, it's yours, it's always been yours, there it is, what would that one thing be?
Tesla Model X. I wanted it so bad, but here's the thing, and I don't know if I've told anyone in public, as things seem to be ramping up with our production efforts, I want so bad to, I drive a totally shitty 2006 Chrysler Pacifica crossover, and it's perfect because it's big enough to hold all my show horse shit, and we can fold out seats if we need it or whatever. It is garbage. It is a garbage mobile with crap mileage and so on. All I want in the world is a Tesla Model X. I will probably never get one because, I cannot, in good conscience, drive one like I don't know. I'd be too embarrassed. I'd be like the white people rich comments would never end, and it's killing me.
Fair enough. That's actually probably the best argument you could have had for that. All right. So Kent, would you like to take it away with tonight's ritual library?
Yeah. So what I am describing here is this is basically a report that someone did on Brian's magic show.
On his.
Okay, so here we go. Podcasters of all ages enjoy watching depressed magicians perform their holographic tricks. Every man, woman, and Columbus even loves to see a magician pull blankets out of a hat, saw a live prank caller in half, and make a huge dwarf disappear into glowing air. Audiences love when magicians perform sleight of brain with a deck of plushies, a modern coin, or a silk rogue. Rogue, not robe, rogue. The greatest of all magicians was the intense Brian Brushwood, who was able to escape from a locked Tesla Model X, even though his hands were tied behind his spiked hair and his feet were wrapped in iron codex.
Wait, this is a real Mad Lib. I seem to remember that. Am I wrong?
No, you're right. It certainly is.
This is a very slightly modified real Mad Libs. Yes.
That is amazing. Also, totally, let me call the Mad Lib Corporation. Beep, boop.
Hey,
We modified it just enough to be a tribute to.
That's great. That is great.
No, we just read their shit.
Yeah.
So let's we do have one more piece of business before we close out tonight. Thank you so much to our patrons. We have 9 patrons. We are pulling $19 an episode, and it is amazing. If I had my shit together, I would already have it open to where we could read the names of our patrons, which we will apparently do next week because I can't get it open.
Yes, we were supposed to do that the first show of each month, announce our new patrons, but yeah, postpone that to next week. That's cool.
Yeah. Either way, man, we really appreciate all 9 of you kicking in just a few dollars here and there to make this show possible, make my wife less complaining about me doing this show, and making this dream come true. So thank you so much to all the patrons out there. Hey,
yeah, you know what? Can we do this? Can we just say, like, at an hour long, like, can we just at least get over $20 an hour because there's 2 of you guys, and then you could say, sweetheart, I've taken a second job, doesn't pay a lot, pays $10 an hour though, and I'm doing my best I can at it.
That would be that would make everything so much better for us. Anybody, if you could make that happen, anybody out there, that would be the coolest thing ever. ritualmisery.com/ritualmisery.
What? You mean patreon.com/ritualmisery?
What did I say?
You said ritualmisery.com/ritualmisery, which I'm
try it out too and see where that goes.
I'm not sure that page goes anywhere.
Ultimately, you can go to patreon.com/ritualmisery.
Now I'm going to have to go into the website, make a redirect. Thanks, dude. Appreciate that. Way to ruin my night. Kent, where can people find more of your mistakes, man?
The best place to follow my mistakes is on Twitter at @RM_Del Noche. But if you're a beer guy like me and you like to read reviews of beers, go to ratebeer.com and look at my over 500 reviews by looking up username Del Noche. Where are you at, Amos?
You can find me at Ethan Kane on Twitter. Follow the show on Twitter at Ritual Misery. Submit ideas on our subreddit, ritualmisery.reddit.com. You can email us, podcast@ritualmisery.com. You can call and leave us a voicemail, 567-69-TRMPC. That's 567-698-7672. And, of course, you can find all these and more links to the show and ways you can support it at ritualmisery.com. Thank you to Kevin MacLeod for allowing us to use your music. For Brian, for Kent, for me, and for you, this has been your Ritual Misery Podcast.
See ya.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
And that's a show. Oh
Dude,
shit! Hey,
that
real
was
quick,
a blast.
we forgot next episode or next guest. Our next guest,
Oh, how did we forget this?
Justin Robert Young, is our next guest. Episode 99. Holy shit! How did we forget that?
No, that's awesome. We've been on this campaign, this countdown to 100, and we figured out about, I don't know, a dozen episodes ago that, like, let's do something as a kind of a run-up to episode 100. And we're like, you know what? Let's reach out to some of our influences, our podcast.
I'll tell you what, man. No, that's the right way to do it because, if you're like, hey, man, we're about on our 3rd episode. You've never heard of us. Please be on our podcast. I'd be like, get back to me at 98. And then luckily, you call.
That's the sweet spot. 98.
Yeah, 98. It's not the obligation that 100 is, but man, it's real close.
Dude, gentlemen, this has been a total blast. I'm so very, very glad you got me out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna
Thanks
go
so
ahead
much,
and-
Brian. It has been so much fun to have you on.
I'm gonna go ahead and kill the stream real quick. Chat
Yeah,
realm.
my stream.
Thank you so
Eat
much.
Shit. We never loved you.
Thanks, chat room. Yeah.
Yeah, fuck you. Unsubscribe.